Welcome to ancient Egypt, a land of grand pyramids and powerful pharaohs. But this story isn't about the wonders of Egypt. It's about a journey from bondage to freedom, led by a man named Moses. Our story begins with a baby boy, Moses. He was born into a time when Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, had ordered that all Hebrew baby boys be thrown into the Nile. To save him, Moses' mother placed him in a basket and set him afloat on the river. The basket was found by Pharaoh's daughter. She took pity on the baby and decided to adopt him, raising Moses as her own son in the palace. Little did she know, this child was destined to change the course of history. Moses grew up with the privileges of royalty, but he never forgot his Hebrew roots. As an adult, he witnessed the harsh treatment of his people, the Israelites, who were enslaved by the Egyptians. One day, Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. In a moment of anger and justice, Moses killed the Egyptian and hid the body. Fearing for his life when the act was discovered, Moses fled Egypt and went to live in the desert. In the desert, while tending sheep, Moses encountered something extraordinary, a bush that was on fire but not burning up. From the midst of the flames, God spoke to Moses, saying, "I have heard the cries of my people, and I am sending you to free them." Despite his doubts, Moses returned to Egypt, accompanied by his brother Aaron. Together they approached Pharaoh with a message, "Let my people go." Pharaoh refused, and so began a series of divine plagues designed to convince him otherwise. Each plague, rivers turning to blood, frogs invading homes, lice and flies swarming, showed the power of God, but Pharaoh's heart remained hardened. The final plague would be the most devastating, the death of the firstborn sons of Egypt. To protect the Israelites, God instructed them to mark their doorframes with the blood of a lamb. This sign would spare them from the final plague. That night, as the angel of death passed over, every Egyptian household mourned the loss of their firstborn sons. Devastated, Pharaoh finally agreed to let the Israelites go. With great relief, they packed their belongings and left Egypt. But Pharaoh soon changed his mind and pursued them with his army. The Israelites found themselves trapped between the Red Sea and Pharaoh's advancing army. Panic set in, but Moses, following God's command, raised his staff. Miraculously, the sea parted, creating a dry path for the Israelites to walk through. As the Israelites reached the other side, Pharaoh's army followed, but just as they entered, the waters returned, swallowing up the chariots and soldiers. The Israelites were finally free. Safe and free, the Israelites celebrated their escape. They had been delivered from slavery and witnessed the mighty power of God. This journey was not just a physical escape, but a spiritual rebirth, reminding us of the power of faith and perseverance. And so, the Israelites began their journey toward a new land, led by Moses, guided by their faith, and filled with hope for the future. Their story reminds us that even in the darkest times, there is always a path to freedom and a promise of a brighter tomorrow. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey. Until next time, remember that every challenge can lead to a new beginning.